Hi, this is Sam Sandoval. I'm a faculty and a cooperative extension specialist here at UC Davis. So in this video we're going to be continue talking about the water cycle in California. This time we're going to be talking about spring. So as we have seen in previous videos, we have already in winter all that water pouring into our soils and recharging, but also we have water as snow in the Sierras. So what happened in spring? As the weather is getting a little bit warmer, all that is snow is just melting. So we have water, snow melt water, coming into the rivers. And that water is coming into the rivers. It's not only bringing water, it's also moving some of the sediments downhill. As water is moving water and sediments, all of that water, when it enters the valley, it will get slowed down. As it's leaving the foothills and entering the valley, it will slow down. What will happen is that all that sediment will start depositing. The sediment that is bringing is pretty much composed of gravel, pebbles, and sand. That composition, we call it alluvial. And when the streams leave the foothills into the valley, they deposit this alluvial material in the shape of a fan. So we have alluvial fans. So all our rivers are actually depositing all these sediments in alluvial fans. Why alluvial fans? Alluvial fans are very important because as those are the places where we have a lot of groundwater recharge, because this material, it actually has a lot of, it has a higher porosity. It has a lot of empty space in between it. That's how water actually can permeate and get into our aquifers, recharging them. So that's why these places are important. So basically what it will happen is as water is moving down, leaving the Sierras in the foothills, this is the places where all the alluvial fan will be deposited, which it forms this kind of, and the alluvial material is deposited in the shape of a fan. Again, these are important recharge zones for the aquifers. Now let's see actually how that looks in our model. So imagine that on this side of the model, we have the coastal range. Imagine that on this side of the model, we have the Sierras. And as water is leaving the Sierras and entering the valley, it will be recharging this aquifer, the valley, through these alluvial fans. For the purpose of this model, we're going to be recharging it in these two deposits that will act as these recharge zones, when we can actually input all this water, and you're going to see how groundwater is recharged. Now, let's start, as always, by marking our model. Again, as all that water is leaving the foothills and passing through these alluvial fans, all that water is just now recharging our aquifers, and slowly but surely, it will not only recharge the aquifer, but that water will start showing, as you can see here. It will start showing in the river. So it's not only recharging the aquifer, but also contributing to some water into the rivers. So, okay, so key messages for spring. Number one, remember that in winter we have snow. The snow is very important because basically that's how we are, that's the time machine, that's how we are moving our water from winter into later in the season. In this case, spring. As in spring, the temperature is getting warmer, all that snow will be melting. We don't have any snow, there is actually no water coming in spring. When snow is melting during spring, remember that the snow melt is not only moving water downstream, but it is also moving sediment, gravel, pebbles, and sand. That material is called alluvial, and as water is leaving the upper watershed, passing into the foothills and entering into the valley, water gets slowed down. And as it gets slowed down, it is depositing all this sediment in the shape of a fan. That's why we call alluvial fans. Alluvial fans are very important. Remember that those are the places where water is actually infiltrating because of high porosity, a lot of space, and recharging directly our aquifers, which will later we're going to be using during summer, and they are also recharging our rivers, helping us out with some water for the environment. So, remember, alluvial fans are very important. We have a snow melt, and in alluvial fans we're having recharge for both. Thank you.